Hi, I'm Austin, co-founder and CEO of Howie. As you probably know by now, Howie is an email-based scheduling assistant. His email address is howie@howie.com, which you can see on the screen in front of you. And that's the email address you'll use to interact with him for all sorts of scheduling things. So in this video, I'm going to walk through a demo of just some of the different things you can do with Howie. And these are all real examples, but modified with made-up people. This first example, Joe has gotten a lead gen form filled out on his website, and he's reaching out to the lead to say, hey, let's set up a time. I'm adding Howie. And so Howie is now scanning Joe's calendar and preferences, sees that if it's an intro call, it's supposed to be at those times. So now Howie has offered some time slots that Joe is available for this call. Now, Ben, the lead, has replied and picked a time, and Howie's double checking Joe's calendar again to make sure it's still available, and also sees instructions on event titles. So now Howie has sent the calendar event and is responding to say, we're all set. And this next example, Julie is going to a conference and she has 5 talks that she wants to make sure she is attending. And so she is emailing Howie and saying, hey, please add all of these 5 to my calendar. So Howie is checking Julie's preferences, checking Julie's calendar, figuring out the time zones and location of these talks and the conference, and then now is going ahead and creating each of these calendar events one by one. So there's 4 of them and 5 of them. And so now Howie is going to let Julie know that she's all set and all of those are set up. And again, she had to just send a single email to create all 5 of those calendar events. And this next example, we're going to get into some more complicated things. So Rachel has come down with a stomach bug and she emailed Howie and said, hey, can you reschedule all my calls today? So Howie is taking a look at Rachel's calendar and preferences and then going ahead and updating one by one each of the events to have rescheduling in the title so that everybody knows it's being rescheduled, as opposed to deleting it just in case there's like something in that calendar event that needs to be carried through when it gets moved. And then Howie's emailing the attendees of each of those calls to let them know that Rachel is not feeling well and that they need to reschedule and to offer some times. So then each of those people will be able to reply and pick a new time, and the meetings will just get seamlessly moved. And again, Rachel only had to send one email in order to kick off all of these reschedulings. All right, next one. So Alicia has 4 candidates for a data analyst role, and she's emailing Howie and saying, hey, please set up interviews on Monday or Tuesday with all 4 of these candidates. So now Howie is checking Alicia's preferences, checking her calendar, and is emailing those candidates one by one. So again, the most common kind of things that you'll do with Howie are typically like the one-offs where you CC Howie into an email thread to set up a meeting. But I do encourage you to try some of these kind of multi-threaded ones where you're emailing and asking Howie to set up several meetings at once, or emailing a list of events that needed to be added to your calendar, because it is a pretty huge time saver to be able to kick off all these workflows. And Howie is going to do a really good job of managing the different email threads and the all of the different kind of parallel scheduling that's happening. So now it looks like we have the candidates responding, and Howie is going ahead and creating the calendar events and responding back to those candidates to let them know that their interviews are scheduled. Um, and so again, Alicia just had to send one single email, and now these 4 different workflows were kicked off, and the interviews are all getting scheduled. And Howie's now writing back to let Alicia know that all 4 interviews are scheduled and she's set. Okay, so this one, Daniel is a VC and he emails Sarah and says, hey, I'd love to get to know you ahead of your next fundraise. And then he shared some of his availability. Sarah has now CC'd Howie in to coordinate. So Howie is checking Sarah's calendar and notices that Sarah's marked at an offsite and is busy all week. But Sarah did say she wanted the call this week. And so Howie is going to go back to Sarah and say, hey, did you actually want it this week during the sales offsite, or do you want this next week? So here's that email to just confirm with Sarah whether she wants the call this week or next week. And that again was just an email to Sarah. So this is kind of a side chat between Sarah and Howie that we're seeing. Now, Sarah said it's important. I can do it between 9 a.m. and whatever and 11 a.m. And so we have time slots for Sarah in Pacific time, for Daniel in Eastern time, and now Howie is processing those and finding the overlap and going ahead to book the meeting at 9 a.m. Pacific. So sent a calendar invite. Daniel had already sent availability in that very first email, so he never had to say anything else. And Howie has responded back to let everybody know that the meeting is scheduled. Okay, so this next one, Dave is setting up a sales demo, and he has two other people on his team plus two external people. So Howie is now processing this, realizing there's a 45-minute call. There's going to be three wavelength team members and two external people at Quantum Metrics. So Howie's scanning Dave and his colleagues' calendars because they've all been added to his Howie team, and so Howie's now offering the time slots that are overlap between Dave, Marcus, and Taylor, and offering those to the quantum mechanics or quantum metrics people. Um, and so, oh, and then Jordan responded and said, actually, they're out of office that week. So now Howie is looking to find times that all three, Dave, Marcus, and Taylor, are all available the following week and will quickly respond and offer those times. All right, so now we have some new time slots offered. And Priya from Quantum Metrics has chosen a time that works for both Jordan and Priya. So now Howie is checking everyone's calendars again and moving forward with creating the calendar event. All right, there's the calendar event. And now Howie's responding to everybody to let them know that everything is all set. Ooh, now it looks like the day before the meeting, Priya has said, I actually can't make it. Jordan can still attend, and I'll leave it to Jordan to decide if he wants to reschedule or not. And so Howie's now processing that and is going to go back to Jordan and say and ask if he wants to proceed the call or reschedule to a time that Priya can make it. And Howie also did offer some times here in case Jordan does want to reschedule just to save a step. Oh, so it looks like Jordan has said that he's down to move forward with the meeting as planned, and we'll just update Priya. And so now Howie is processing that and doesn't need to change anything with the calendar event, and is just going to reply and let everybody know that the plan is to proceed with the call as planned. So that's pretty much it. There's a ton more that you can do, obviously, but those are just like some quick examples of the types of things. If you ever have any questions, you can ask Howie those questions, or you can email me directly. My email is a@howie.com. And also, if you ask Howie questions and they are a little bit too tricky, then Howie will sometimes CC me in. Thanks so much.